Hello everybody, this is Japic checking in for another cooking video. Today we're going to be bringing you another breakfast. This one actually, I'm not even eating it at breakfast time, that's just how much I like this stuff. But if you've ever had an opportunity or a situation in which you've had leftover breakfast and maybe a little extra hash browns or bacon or whatever, you can actually take these things and kind of reimagine them into something new and different. This is something that I've kind of been eating for years. I first started eating them years ago at a job of mine. But instead of offering a traditional breakfast burrito where they wrap things up inside a tortilla, they were offering breakfast quesadillas, which I gotta say, I love them. You get all the same stuff and they're crispy and they're just delicious. So that's what we're going to be making today. Right now I've got a pan going here, and if you're like me, sometimes you don't even need a excuse to eat breakfast. This is a 12-inch skillet. It's in fact the same one that I used a short while ago to make hash browns in. I didn't have any hash browns left over, but I wanted this, so I made some. So we do have here some prepared hash browns. As we've talked about before, always, every step of the way, all the food should be seasoned, flavored. So I've gone and put some butter in this pan. It's a 12-inch skillet. It's the same one I was using for these hash browns. They're kind of going to give us our base. Now, I do like bacon, and what we're going to do is we're going to start this one off with a little bit of bacon in our butter just to warm these up. If you have bacon that's fresh from something you just did, great, use it. If you don't, that's okay too. The stuff I'm using is actually something you might see in a like a grocery store if you were going to be doing salads or something. They're kind of the fresh bacon bits, and they're pretty good for what they are. So depending on the size of the meal that you're going to be having, you're going to want to kind of parse this all out and figure it out. I picked up some big tortillas that I want to use for this, but we're going to warm our hash browns. Well, they're still mostly warm. Our hash browns and our bacon up a little bit. Get the fats working with these guys. And then I've taken and I've already scrambled up two eggs, put just a little bit of milk into them. I find that it makes them just a little bit creamier. I've seen people use water, but this is it's my preference, is milk. And this thing it's going pretty decent. I've kind of spread everything out because we're going to be making this all together. And wow, suddenly 2 eggs is feeling like I might not have picked enough for that pan. I should have used 3. As before, we're going to want to season all this together. I'm going to put a little bit of salt and pepper on it. And then in a little bit when we assemble the quesadilla, we're going to use some of my Mexican seasoning. But we're just going to take and scramble this egg up in here with these guys until it's all just one thing. Like I said before, this is just a kind of a reimagining of a breakfast. If you've ever had a breakfast burrito, you kind of like the way it works out, then this might in fact be for you. I know a spatula isn't my best tool for this exact job, but once again, it's what I was using earlier, so we're going to use the tools at hand without having to wash every dish in the kitchen, I hope. So, as always, I'm going to have to pimp this cause a little bit. I'm sure you've heard me say it about 100 times by now. Vault Girl and I are still working on a collaborative playlist through YouTube, and we are trying to get our friends cooking. We want everybody to contribute some food, some things they like, regional favorites. You know, let's start some conversations. Let's get everybody eating and sharing food, and then at the end of the day, we're all going to win. And admittedly, we might all get a little fat, and that's okay too. Because if you're not eating good food, what's the point of eating? Well, rather than watch us cook here, I'm going to let this video off for a minute, and we're just going to bring these eggs cooked all the way through, and I'm going to get my my griddle out, and we're going to start this quesadilla on it. Or maybe, I don't know, I'll check the size of the tortillas. Maybe they'll fit in this pan. We'll figure out how it works. Anyway, I'll see you guys in just one little minute after these eggs are done and we're ready to start assembling. Alright, we're back. I've decided to use the same pan. My tortillas are large, but they're going to fit in here just nice. I've got this thing on kind of a medium-low heat right now. I've got one of my tortillas out and put a little bit of margarine on it. I like my tortillas to be a little bit crisp when we're having quesadillas. Now we're going to be generous with the cheese on this. You know, when it comes to shredded cheese, I used to buy my own and shred it myself until the day that I stood there looking at the prices of things and realized that it is actually cheaper, or I'm sorry, the same cost at my store anyway, the same cost per ounce, be it shredded cheese or not. So I started using regular shredded cheese instead of buying my own and shredding it, because it avoids all the hassle. Now, officially I said the word quesadilla. I'm going to be officially making two. Yes, I could officially take this the way that we have it. What we're going to do is we're going to basically fold this in half, taking all the hot cheese and bringing it together and letting this thing melt down. But I could officially take one and just put a hat on it, put this seasoning all the way across. But this is my Mexican seasoning again that we've used before, just a couple little pinches of that. And if you need information about that, it is in my a queso recipe. So with this thing started, we're going to take and flip that over halfway. And right now it's a pretty thick bundle. I don't know what the right word is. It is not skinny. And we're going to let our pan go ahead and brown up that butter and that tortilla, and then it's going to melt everything together, and it's going to be delicious in just a couple of minutes time. So we're going to let that work for one little minute. And it's not very beautiful to look at it this exact step of the way. Unfortunately, this comes down to one of those things where it's going to look prettier on the plate at the end of it. But we do need to get some color in this. I don't know, maybe if I had my pan up a little higher. There we go. We're starting to get some browning on that tortilla. And for me, you know, I'm not afraid of the cheese on this one. I mean, it is a quesadilla, and you're going to see it here in a minute that it's going to be. You kind of need it to be thicker. I'm sorry, that's not the right words. You need it to be to have lots of ingredients so that it's not crumbly and fall into pieces in your mouth. There should hopefully be one kind of cohesive bite when you get into it. So I did just turn that heat up just a little bit more. But like I said, if you're trying to cut calories, you know, maybe you're not having bacon, maybe you're having ham. Not using as much cheese, maybe. I mean, you know, heck, if you're not having a quesadilla with cheese, I don't even know what to use as an alternative there. So, but this is coming along nicely, and turn that around, get eyes on it here. Yeah, I think that'll do. So I'm going to scoop this one off and drop it onto the cutting board, and I'm going to get my second one dropped in here for the other half. Alright folks, here we have it. This is officially 1.5 of those quesadillas. I ate the other two before the first one was even, 2 pieces before the first was even done cooking. But as you can see, we are full of bacon and cheese and egg and hash brown. And you want to serve these either with some salsa, some green chili, kind of whatever fits your wants, your desires. The truth is, lots of times I just eat them plain. Yeah, I hope you either want to refresh your leftovers or start from scratch and make it just to make it like I did. And I hope you enjoy. Japic of Death signing off. I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and we will catch you in the next video. Remember to visit our playlist and give us some entries. Share your food, please and thank you. See you next time. Bye-bye.